Hello guys, you're welcome to the second module of TMFC, the Millionaire Freelancing Course. Now in this section, I'm going to introduce you to the world of freelancing. Now the first thing we'll be looking at is, what is freelance? I've been saying freelance. What is actually freelance? Now there are many definitions to freelancing, but I'm going to niche you down to something you can actually relate with. Now, freelancing is said to happen when an individual, an agency, or a company. Now, when I say an individual, an agency, or a company, I'm simply referring to people who are either writers, programmers, or even graphic designers. Now, freelance happens when they offer this particular skill they have in exchange for money or cash, however, on a part-time or short-term basis. So it simply means that you have a skill and you are offering this skill to someone who needs this skill on a short-term basis or a short-term agreement. Also, we can also say freelancing means working as an independent contractor or an independent individual agency for multiple clients, which means that you are not tied to any particular client, okay? You can work for as much clients as you can accommodate. So it means you work for those clients as a single individual or entity, okay? Now, I've talked about what freelancing is. I've talked about what freelance is. Who is now a freelancer? You can actually guess who a freelancer is. Now, a freelancer is just a person who offers their skill sets. Now, these skill sets could be writing, graphic design, programming, lots of things, or a particular service to a client or a company in exchange for payment. And now this is done on a temporary contract basis, such as hourly or payments made per job, okay? Now after this, we are going to look at the requirements to becoming a freelancer. So I've been explaining what freelancing is, what freelance is. Now we are going to be talking about the requirements needed to become a freelancer. Now the very first requirement you need is a skill, okay? Freelancing is about selling a skill or a service to a client for money. So the first and most important thing you have to consider before freelancing is having a skill. In this case, we are referring to digital skills majorly. Some example of these digital skills, let me just give you some examples, such as writing, graphic design, programming, lots and lots of them, okay? Now let's move on to the next thing you need to have. The next requirement is a PC. By PC, I'm referring to your personal computer or even your laptop, okay? Now, this is just a personal computer that you will use to offer your digital skill. Now, don't get me wrong, in some cases, there are some jobs you can actually offer using your phone. But majority of the courses you need, majority of the skills or services you would offer, you need a PC. For example, if you provide a writing service, you will need Microsoft Word app and Google Doc, which in most cases, this is what people use in most cases to work on writing jobs that you will get from your clients. Now, please also note that a few services can be offered using your mobile phone. Like I said before, I just had to remind you. But the truth is, you still need a PC somewhere along the line. So this is a must-have requirement. You must have that one. Now let's quickly move to the next one. You must have an internet connection. Now you're working with people across borders, not just people in your locality or location. So you need an internet connection. The next thing is an audience. Now, when I mean an audience, I'm simply referring to the people who need your service, okay? That's an audience, because even if you are so good at your skill and nobody needs your service, freelancing cannot happen. Freelancing only happens when you have a skill and someone needs that skill, okay? The next requirement is a payment system. So for example, when you work on a job, how do you get paid? This is where the payment system comes in. The next thing you need is a portfolio. Now, a portfolio basically showcases your past work, okay? It showcases all you have done before, and this gives clients or people who need your service some form of confidence that you can actually offer the skill or service you said you are offering, okay? Now, the next thing you need, which is probably the last thing I'm going to just give to you, is an active social media profile. Now, when I said an active social media profile, I don't mean your Facebook you are using to chase people or do whatever it is you are doing. In fact, there are sections in this course that will talk a lot about that, but just keep in mind that you need an active social media profile. Now this moves us to the next thing we have here, which is how do you make money as a freelancer? Now I've been talking about freelancing, told you freelancers are, what is freelancing, how can you actually make money? Now I'm also going to just list a few things for you, would expand on all of it as we progress in this course. Now the first thing here is you choose your niche or your field. Now, as a freelancer, you don't come into this space and you are a writer, you are a programmer, you are a graphic designer. No, you need to choose a niche where you'd focus all of your strengths, and this will help you get better in that niche. And with that way, you build credibility very, very fast. Now, the next thing we'll be looking at is get a sellable digital skill within that field and niche. So when, for example, if you pick a writing niche, okay, you need to get a sellable skill within that niche. Now, like I told you, this course encompasses all these things, okay? In subsequent sections, I'm going to be showing you skills. I'm going to be telling you how you can focus on niches and all of that, okay? But if you already have a skill, okay, you can of course skip this, but I would advise you don't, because there are other things I'm going to teach you here that you must have missed before, so please stay tuned on this. So the next point we are looking here is build a solid portfolio to show your work. Like I told you before in the requirements, you need a portfolio. So you need to build a solid portfolio that will help you showcase your work. You can actually skip not having this if you already have a portfolio of work before and you just want to really come into the freelance space. So the next point, which is actually very important, is you need to join a freelance platform. Now there are so many freelance platforms. In fact, we are going to be talking about a lot of them. Freelance platforms such as Upwork, Fiverr, or you can just, if you decide to go a different route, you can find clients that need your service. But joining a freelance platform is one of the easiest parts to doing that. Now the next thing we are going to look at is create gigs, write proposals to win jobs on the freelance platform. Of course, in our subsequent sections, we'll be going into detail what I mean by this, okay? Now the next point is offer the service to a client who needs it. Now, you should keep in mind we are talking about how you make money as a freelancer. So you need to offer your service to someone who needs it. Because when someone comes to you, I need your service, you offer that service, that is how you get paid. And then the next point is getting paid. Of course, I told you, when there is no payment for a job, it is not considered as a freelance. Now, the last point to be looking at here is building a solid portfolio to showcase your work. Now, I already talked about portfolio before, but this point is for people who don't have, portfolio. They are new to this skill, okay? They just learned this skill and they've not really done, lots of job. You need to build a solid portfolio to showcase your work, okay? So this is all, like a brief list of how you can make money as a freelancer, okay? So that brings us to the end of this module, and I hope you've learned a lot from this module. You've learned what freelance is, you've learned about freelancing, and you've learned how you can make money as a freelancer. So I'm going to see you guys in the next module.